Dr. Krukowski. I am an associate professor of preventive medicine at University of Tennessee Health Science Center, and I'm a clinical psychologist by training, and I do primarily weight management trials. I've done quite a few different types of trials, some that are specifically focused on weight loss and weight maintenance. The trials that I have going on right now are a little bit different. One is focused on post-cessation weight management. So people typically gain about 10 pounds when they quit smoking. And so this study is focused on trying a couple of different strategies to help people reduce that weight gain. And then I have a study that's focused on gestational weight gain and postpartum weight loss with TRICARE beneficiaries.
Those are interesting studies. I was immediately interested in the smoking cessation study. Do you have, what are your perceptions of participant retention in those? Let's say it's the, I've heard in the past that pregnancy studies are great because people are highly compliant, and I don't know if that's true or not, but that's kind of the rumor that I've heard. And if you compare your gestational weight management study versus the smoking cessation study, do you see any differences between them in participant retention?
Yeah, with the pregnancy studies, there's typically two major groups of reasons why people stop participating or withdraw from the study. One is they get busy. Often it's associated with relocating, and they just feel like they can't handle participating in the study anymore. The other big reason that people stop participating in pregnancy studies are things like miscarriage, where they're no longer pregnant. They feel really, upset about that, and they don't want to have any reminder about continuing to be involved in a study. And then a small subgroup have experiences like stillbirth, where they may have gone through most of the pregnancy, but again, they don't want that reminder of participating in the intervention. A few people do decide to continue to participate after stillbirth, but I would say it's lower than 50%.
And your smoking cessation study, what do you see there? Is it different?
Yeah, I mean, we have fewer of those health-related reasons for stopping participation, although we have had a couple of people where we had one person that had a fall and ended up in long-term care, and he stopped participating, and then, other things like that. But for the most part, it's similar in that it's often related to relocation or job changes and just feeling like they can't participate anymore. Although I do find that with that study, we have more people where we just can't get in touch with them. And we try every contact method that we have that they've given us. And then we search for them on Facebook and the white pages and everything we can to try to potentially find them in a new location.
When I worked with Corby, we had a remote intervention, and to me, it's missing data. Like, I'm a data person. I get the data that, I probably should never be part of an actual study because I haven't done well with participants that ask questions, because I think with data and numbers, and it seems to be a different skill to retain participants in studies. But when I get the missing data, Corby kind of tells me, hey, it's a red flag for non-compliance. Do you feel the same thing? Like, maybe the reason that you can't get in touch with them is that they're kind of, okay, I'm giving up, I'm done?
Yeah, and we actually hear that a lot, where they say, yeah, I don't want to participate because I haven't quit smoking or I've regained weight. And even some go so far as to say, I feel like I'm screwing up your study. I should just stop so that I don't ruin your results. And then we have to encourage them to continue participating, because we are interested in hearing about the things in our studies that don't work for participants, because often we focus on the things that are working. And if we don't hear those perspectives of the things that didn't work for certain individuals, then we won't know if the study or the intervention needs to be tailored, for example, for a particular population.
So I'm gonna leave you with this thing because you'll find this kind of interesting. So I thought that the students that we have a online tool called WebAssign, so online homework management system. And I noticed last year that students that are in our Jedi Math class, they're the ones that actually get in the highest advanced classes, did all their homework. Every single cadet that was in that class always did the homework. It might not have got a perfect score on the homework, but the homework was always open and done on time. And if you look at the course I'm teaching now, that's not the case. And so I suspected that the difference between the two classes is probably self-efficacy. So we always tend to think of, oh, you're in the higher math because you're smarter, but I don't believe that. There's plenty of smart people that just haven't found the math that they like so far. That's my opinion. But then when I went and looked at the data again, and with the eye of I want to use these models that have similar to a dropout type model, I found something similar to what you're talking about. That it was, I had some like initial ones that never started homework. Day one, they never did it. So they were like not going to be the kind of person that much can probably be done. And there are only a few of those. But then there was a group of them that steadily did the homework until some cut point and just quit, never to do them again. And so it struck me that that is a group that is very similar to what you just talked about, that they, for whatever reason, they dropped out and they never came back, possibly because they felt they weren't doing well enough. And so it'd be interesting if we can develop an intervention to go and retain those individuals and find a way to bring them back.
Yeah, and actually that's something that's a pretty popular idea in weight management, is identifying what some of those early predictors are for people not doing well. One sign is that they're not getting started with dietary self-monitoring. We have some data back from my postdoc where we looked at people's self-monitoring in weeks 1 to 4, and we could already pick out who were going to be the ones that reached clinically significant weight loss at 6 months. So there do appear to be some early predictors. With the look ahead data, they also looked at months 1 and 2 and found that those were predictors actually for outcomes 8 years out. And so there clearly are some of these early signs, and I certainly agree with your point about the self-efficacy. I feel like, you know, I didn't love calculus, but if I had been introduced to statistics in high school, I might have been in a different position now, because I do think that there are different things that we feel maybe more meaningful or more just intriguing to us personally. And when you were saying that, I was thinking of this study that one of my colleagues was telling me about, where she was doing this workplace intervention for weight loss. And the group that she had been assigned to was an accounting firm. And like all behavioral weight management interventions, they did dietary self-monitoring. And she said that she had never seen such amazing self-monitoring and weight loss, because all of them felt comfortable with all of the numbers that are required with self-monitoring, particularly when, you know, this was 15, 20 years ago, when the app wasn't calculating the calories and the fat and all of that for you. You were actually paper and pencil adding things up with your calculator.
I wish I had the power to change the way we teach math. I feel like if you like what you're doing, so many students don't like what they're doing. And I don't blame them, because who wants to complete the square on 100 problems? That's terrible. That's torture. And so I wish I could go back and change the way high school math is taught, so that we are taking things that are more relevant, which is statistics and data, and then taking things that are relevant to students. Which this is more relevant to students, so this is why they're interested in it, not the rabbit. Maybe there's somebody interested in the rabbit population. Well, I'll find out. I'll poll them tomorrow and find out. But thank you for your time. I'm going to share the video with you, and I'm going to share the video with the students. And I think they're going to use the things you've talked about here for the WebAssign problem. I don't think it's exactly the kind of fit model that we have in class, but maybe they can think about what it would be if someone just dropped out and never came back because they felt whatever. What would they have to do to go turn that around? And I think that would be a nice problem to investigate.
Yeah, and I certainly think that what the intervention or the study staff does can really impact that. So yesterday I was looking at my retention numbers, and I was looking at wave 1 of our study, where all of my staff were new to behavioral intervention studies, and they had never really had to retain participants before over a long period of time. And those are our lowest numbers. And so you can kind of see over time that the staff are getting better and better, and we honed our protocol for this particular population in terms of, okay, you know, first we're going to try phone calls, and then we're going to try different times of the day, and then we're going to try text messages, and then we're going to try, you know, an email from the PI indicating how important their data are, and, you know, all of these different strategies that eventually get us to really good retention rates.
Something to think about. Something to think about. I don't think there's I always tell Corby Martin, we don't do too different of things. You try to get people to lose weight. I try to get people to like math. They're equally hard.
Yep.
Well, thank you for your time, and I will get back to you.
Wonderful.
Thank
you.
you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.